Hello, in today's video I am going to be talking you through everything that you need to start your weaning journey. So if you're about to embark on your weaning journey with your baby, then keep on watching. Hello, my name is Grace. If you're new around here, then I am a mum to two little boys. My toddler Elliot is turning 2 in the spring, and I've also got a baby Jasper who is 6 months old, so we have just begun another weaning journey. I make content all about motherhood and life in between, so if you find this video useful at the end, then please consider subscribing and sticking around for lots more content like this. As a second time mum, I felt so much more confident going into it this time, hence why I'm making this video. I thought I could give you my tips. These are going to be some things that I have found really helpful in our weaning journey, and this is just basically going to be weaning 101 for beginners. If you want to know exactly what you need to start weaning, then this is the video for you. These are our weaning essentials. I found them really helpful with my first son, and some things that I learned with my first baby that I've taken into our weaning journey as a second time mum. I'm going to talk you through everything, so let's begin. Before I actually get into the nitty-gritty of the video, I'm going to split this video down into two parts, and I'm going to be talking you through like mealtime essentials, everything you need for your baby's mealtime, and then I'm going to be talking you through the prep and the practical essentials that you need for your weaning journey. Before you actually begin weaning your baby, I would recommend having a think about what sort of weaning you want to do. There's lots of different things you can do, such as purees, you can do baby-led weaning, or you can do like a bit of a combination of anything. So have a look. There's loads of Instagram accounts, people like share their baby's weaning journeys. You can have a look at that, or just have a think about what's going to suit your lifestyle best. So for us, we did a combination of baby-led weaning and purees. As a first-time parent, I personally found purees the more kind of comfortable way to wean my baby, because when you're a first-time parent, it's a little bit scary giving your baby food for the first time. You're worried about choking, and I will say it is important before you begin a weaning journey to fill yourself in on all of the health and safety practical type things that come with weaning. I would say that when I first started weaning my first son, Elliot, like although I was sensible and I gave him like small portions, like even now I'm just like overly cautious. I always cut things up really small. When your baby is first starting, like cook vegetables so they're really soft, easy for them to swallow, and then just gradually like you can, even now my toddler is 2 and I still like will cut a cherry tomato up into like 4 pieces, or grapes. I'm like just really cautious about it. I don't think you can be too safe when it comes to choking and things like that. With all that said, well, you thought about how you're going to wean your baby, either like baby-led or purees. So these are going to be some of your mealtime essentials that you're going to need when you're putting your baby in their high chair for the first time to begin their weaning journey. So obviously, as I've just said, you're going to need a high chair. Now, I have done a review on the high chair that we got for my first son, Elliot, and I really didn't get on with it. It was a lot of money, and since then I have moved to the IKEA high chair, which is like cheap as chips, so cheap and cheerful, and it's easy to wipe, practical. I actually feel like my baby sits up better in this high chair, in the IKEA one, than the expensive one. So you definitely don't have to do expensive. You can go budget if you want, do whatever suits you, but I would recommend the IKEA one. I've got 2 now because obviously I've got 2 children, and they are really good, and you can like accessorize them however you want, and they can be a little bit like, you know, you can make it a little bit more personalized, and we've got like covers for them, that kind of thing. I won't go into that because there's loads of videos on that. So get your high chair. I would definitely recommend a high chair. I know that some people don't always have a high chair, but we have found it so much more helpful. I would also suggest eating as a family, because babies like to copy, they like to see what's going on, and it teaches them a good environment to eat at meal times, and it just sort of promotes that mealtime routine for them every day. So we've always eaten as a family. You want to get their high chair ready probably before you start your weaning journey. The next essential that you've got to get before you start your weaning journey is a coverall bib like this one. This is the Tidy Tot long coverall bib. I've done a full review on these, so I'll leave that at the top of the screen. I've done lots of reviews in depth, so I will leave these linked. This is the one that we like. As you can see, it's really long. It's got a pocket to catch all the crumbs, because weaning is extremely messy. You've got your baby in all their lovely clothes. You don't want to spoil them with the mess of weaning, and it's just easier to take a bib off them, wipe the bib down, rather than have to like wipe their outfit every time, because once they are having 3 meals a day, it's a constant cycle of eat, wipe, repeat, if you see what I mean. So it's easier to have a coverall bib to protect their clothes, because it is so messy. And like I say, this one also catches crumbs. It's really practical, and just you need a long bib. I've tried the like silicone like little ones. They're not very good. You want to protect their clothes. It's just easier to have a long coverall bib, trust me. Then the next thing that I really recommend you getting before you start your weaning journey, or when maybe once you're on your weaning journey, is a suction bowl. These are really handy, as the name suggests. They suction onto your baby's high chair and it won't budge, so it will just literally like sit on their high chair. They won't be like tempted to pull it off, and I mean sometimes they can get them off. They're not completely invincible, but they usually don't budge, and it's a nice way. I think it's important for your baby to see the food that's in front of them. And when I did my first son's weaning journey, I was just using little pots to feed him in, and then he doesn't get to see the food in front of him, and then I think it's just nice for them to be able to see it. Although it can be a distraction, I think it's important for them to be able to see what you're feeding them. So I would recommend a bowl to begin with, because the majority of us are going to be doing purees. I just think it's the first thing that you kind of go to when you're weaning your baby, so it's obviously easier to have the puree in a bowl rather than a plate, because they do suction plates. This is the suction plate that I've got. You can buy them both at the same time if you want, but definitely a bowl to begin with, and then a plate as you are more confident in your weaning journey and you do like more like finger foods. The plates suction as well, if I didn't mention. I've done a review on these too, so I'll leave that at the top of the screen. Yeah, the plates are perfect for finger foods, that kind of thing, but if you are just starting out, all you really need is a bowl, I would say, until you're a bit more confident to give them more like solid foods. So the bowl will be perfect for purees, and obviously you can put solid foods in the bowl too. These are the bamboo ones, in case I didn't say, and we really like them. I found that actually I think that the suction part sticks better to certain high chairs, because with my the high chair that I didn't like that I was talking about to begin with, it didn't really stick very well to it, but it sticks pretty good to my two sons' IKEA high chairs. So I don't know if that's just a coincidence or what, but I found that the suction is better with the IKEA high chair. Yeah, it won't move about, because trust me, when they start weaning, they've got their spoons, the spoons are flicking off in the air, and if you didn't have a suction bowl, the bowl would be on the floor as well. So get a suction bowl like this one. I like the bamboo, it's really cute. You can choose the different like colour suctiony part, and the plates come in loads of really funky cute designs. We've got a fish one, we've got a lamb. I know like if you've got little girls, they do unicorns and like really cute things, and you get really creative with the way you present your food to your baby, even though it does usually end up like chucked around quite a lot. But if you want to, you know, fill your boots up, that is an option as well. As I just mentioned, spoons, cutlery. I think spoons are the only thing you really need when you're starting your weaning journey, because you're going to be doing puree most of the time. Your baby's like fine motor skills aren't good enough like for a fork to like, you know, pop the fork in and then put it in their mouth. A spoon is perfectly fine. You know, if you want to get like a fork as well, you can do, but to be honest, spoons are fine, and the more spoons the better, because they do end up on the floor. So I've got the bamboo ones that come with the, when you buy the bamboo bowl, you get a spoon with it, and if you buy the plates, you have to buy the spoon separately. So we've got like a load of bamboo ones. I really like these. They're really good when your baby's weaning, because they're soft, like silicone, and they just like move really nicely when like your baby's like first learning to eat. Soft on their gums and their mouths, that kind of thing. I like them ones. And then we've also got a pack of these munchkin ones. I think I bought these from Home Bargains, like places like Home Bargains and B&M. You can get loads of good like weaning stuff from. So this was like a big, I think there was like maybe 10. You can probably see I've got a bit of a theme going on, like green and purple. It's my kind of the colour of my kitchen. So these ones have got a really long handle, the munchkin ones, and they are like, they're not too like, the spoon part is a good size for your baby's mouth. You don't want to be getting spoons that are too big, because it will just make too much mess. And I think the bigger the sort of spoon, the more tempted you are to like, either if you're going to feed them or they feed themselves, they can load it up too much. So you want the spoon bit to be like a good size. So yeah, I like these munchkin ones because they've got a long handle. So if your baby is struggling with like their spoon skills, it's like quite good for them, because they've got like a big long handle to help them get the spoon to their mouth. In comparison, It's just a little bit longer than the bamboo one, and that's like a bit wider. So it really depends what sort of thing you're going for. These Munchkin ones are fine, but I do like the bamboo ones because of the like silicone-y bits. Really nice for babies when they're beginning to wean. Then last thing you need for your baby's meal times is going to be a sippy cup. This is our recommendation. It's the Munchkin Gentle Transition Sippy Cup. We got on so well with this one. I tried loads of different sippy cups with Elliot and he did not get on with them. This was the only one that worked, and like everything else we tried, just he couldn't get on with. He was either spluttering and coughing. The flow on this one's really good when they're beginning. It's a little bit like a bottle. It's meant to help them go from a bottle to a cup. So we really like these ones. They're the perfect size. The handles are really good to train them to drink themselves. I've done a review on these as well, so I'll leave that. These are our sort of sippy cup recommendations. If you're looking for one, I know that you can buy these on Amazon. I'll leave everything linked down below. We really like these ones. Okay, I'm now going to move on to the practical, the preparation side of weaning, all the things you need for that. So depending on how you're going to do it, I just found that like cooking vegetables up and pureeing them was the simplest thing for me. It's so affordable. You don't have to do like pouches of food if you don't want to. Like if you just want to know exactly what's going on into your baby's food when they're first beginning, it is so simple to puree your baby's food. The first thing that you're going to need is a hand blender like this. I mean, most people have got this kind of thing in their kitchen anyway. I had this before I had my children. It's got all stains on it because it does get quite messy. These are so affordable. I think I picked mine up in Wilkinson's for like £5, but I think I've managed to find a link to one on Amazon for like a tenner. Super affordable. So basically it literally is as easy as it sounds. So when you've got your saucepan or however you want to, like steamed broccoli, that kind of thing, imagine that, pop it in with a little bit of liquid and just push down and it will puree it like really nicely. You can leave it lumpy if you want, so to begin with you can make it really smooth and then just get it lumpier and lumpier as you get a bit more confident feeding them. So a hand blender like this is an essential when it comes to like prepping your baby's puree. You could just mash them, but then this is going to get it a lot smoother, I think, and it's really affordable and it's quite a good thing just to have in your kitchen anyway. Yeah, I'd recommend getting a hand blender to get your baby's pureed foods ready. Then the next thing that you're going to need if you're going to be like batch cooking or prepping a load of stuff for your baby to wean is a ice cube tray like this with the bits at the bottom, so you can just pop, once you've pop them in the freezer, you can just pop one out. This makes the perfect portion size when you're first weaning your baby, because at the beginning they are just, it's not necessarily about them being full up of food, it's about exploration of flavours and textures, so they don't always eat very much. So rather than wasting like one cube like this popped out is perfect when they're in the early weeks and months of weaning. It stops wastage. What I like to do is I will cook something up and I will blend it up, and then I also then will leave a few bits out and I cut them up really finely so they can see the food like what it looks like not puree. My son will have a little practice of eating it solid, if that makes sense. I'll try and include cutaways while I'm talking. You can freeze that up, like it's literally just all in your freezer like this, and it's so easy because they got these bits, you can just pop it out. It's a really nice way to portion and get some weaning prep for your baby. And then you can either like leave it in that in your freezer. An optional thing that I have is like a little pouch, and then you can put a food label on it to say exactly what it is, like carrot puree or broccoli puree, mashed potato, that kind of thing, and you've got the little cubes in there and you can just get it in the freezer like that, or you can just literally leave it like that. I think is probably the easiest, but it depends if you're like stuck for freezer space, you might want to do like a little pouch. I just find it really handy. I know that a little cube is probably enough for one meal time at a go. Then another handy little thing to have when you're beginning weaning are these freezable and microwave proof pots. Once you've got the little cube of puree out your freezer, you can literally pop it in a microwavable pot like this, pop the lid on it, put it in the microwave, and it's ready to go. And so just get some little microwavable pots. I think as well these are quite good. You could like freeze a load of stuff in this and then pop it out because the bottom there is a bit rubbery. But these are the Tommy Tippy ones that I've got. I think these come in a pack of 2. Again, I believe I got these from Home Bargains. They're quite affordable and they're just a really nice size to keep baby food in because they're not too big, and they can, you know, that's their little portion in there. Like I think I mentioned at the start, like when I was first weaning Elliot, I was just putting his puree in these little pots, so you can do that, but it's nice for them to see what they're eating. So yeah, you do need some little microwavable pots, or if you need to pop them in the freezer, you can also do that with those. That's a handy thing to keep in mind before you start weaning. And then another essential when you are weaning, whether you're beginning to wean or whether your toddler is like mine, 2 years old, are some wipes. These are the Cheeky Wipes little cloths. These are a really good size for greasy, grubby, dirty hands. They're really soft. I think they're either microfiber or they're bamboo. I'm not quite sure, I can't remember, I'll try and find out. They are so soft, really nice just for wiping up grubby hands and faces, or otherwise you can just get like soft flannels or face cloths or just like microfiber cloths, but you definitely need an abundance of cloths. These come in like a big pouch of like loads. I'm not sure how many, but I really like these. But if they're like really grubby, like say you've had like pasta sauce or something like that, I would recommend something a little bit bigger than these. These are just good for like dirty hands and like a bit of dirt. A flannel is probably better if you've got a lot of mess, like a dark flannel, but these are really essential thing that you need when you're weaning, because as I've said before, it is very messy. Now, I'm going to finish the video here by just talking about a few other optional things. I don't think these are essentials, but these are things that you might want to consider before you begin your weaning journey. First thing that I'm going to talk about are these reusable food pouches. Definitely not an essential by any means, but I think if you're someone that's out and about a lot, say you've got like lots of clubs that your baby, or classes that your baby attends, and you want to go down the whole line of pouches, but you want to make your baby's food, reusable food pouches are a really good idea. These are the Chewy ones. I quite like these. They come with this was an extra. It comes just like that normally, but then I bought the one with the extra teat. I think it just stops the flow coming out like all over the place. So you can buy reusable pouches. So if you've got like a smoothie or yogurt or like your own puree, you can put whatever you want in these, but these ones are really cute. They come in like quite a few different patterns. But yeah, that's something to consider. Then last but not least, another thing that you might want to consider is buying a specific book about weaning. As I said, not essential. There's so much on Instagram, there's so much on the internet, but if you're someone that likes to actually have something in your hand to reference, a weaning book is good. This is the one that we had. It's the Weaning 15. I've heard other mums talk about, I think there's one called Mummy May. You might just want to consider picking up a weaning book. Like I say, it just gives you all the lowdown on everything, and it's got it like written down right in front of you in case you want something like actually in your hand to reference. It's also got obviously ingredients and just some ideas for recipes when you're weaning your baby. So yeah, we did like this one. I also liked this one because it was quite useful for me in the sense that it encouraged me to give my babies vegetables rather than fruit to begin with. I think if I hadn't have read this or like read a weaning book, I'd have just gone straight in with like mashed bananas, cooked apple, that kind of thing. But obviously your baby has a preference for sweet things anyway. It has like a little menu that you can give your baby when they're weaning, so I won't talk too much about that, because if you want to pick that up yourself you can. So yeah, maybe consider getting a book about weaning. Okay, there you have it. They are my weaning recommendations for everything you need to start your weaning journey. It can feel a little bit overwhelming, but I think if you break it down and sort of simplify it for yourself, it just makes it easier on you as a mum, and it really depends on your lifestyle and your cooking style. For me, I always knew that I wanted to like cook as much as possible for my children because I knew exactly what was going in it, that kind of thing, and it can be really simple and affordable if you don't overcomplicate it. If you don't want to buy a cookbook, I think I've mentioned throughout this video, like Instagram's a really good place to go to for weaning accounts, all that sort of thing. So yeah, I really hope you found this video useful. As a second time mum, I feel like these tips are tried and tested and they should really help you on your weaning journey. So leave me a comment down below letting me know, have you started your weaning journey yet, or are you about to? Are you excited for your weaning journey? I personally love the weaning stage. I find it really exciting and it feels like a really big new milestone in your baby's life as you get to watch them and their expressions, and yeah, it's a really fun part of your baby's life. So I really hope you enjoy it and you've found this video useful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.